it going, everybody? It's Mike from PC Classic Cars, back with another test drive video. Today we are in this 1974 Torino GT. It has a built 429 and a 4-speed manual transmission. And as y'all can see, I have to have a jacket on here in Texas today. We finally got a little bit cooler weather, so it makes it a whole lot more enjoyable driving these old cars. It's nice when it's not 120 degrees outside to go out and hop in one of these and drive it. So again, we have a 1974 Torino GT. This car was originally an M Code 351 car with an FMX automatic transmission. It's been modified. It now has a built 429 with aluminum heads. The motor is extremely strong and it runs absolutely excellent. Unfortunately, I don't have any paperwork on who built the motor, when the motor was built, when it was put in the car, but I can tell you it runs extremely well. The 4-speed obviously shifts to the gears really well. Goes up through the gears, down through the gears like it should. The clutch feels excellent. We do also have power steering, power disc brakes in the front, and it's just an excellent driving Torino. It's very well ironed out. As you can see with the steering wheel, the steering is nice and tight, goes where you want it to go, and then it brakes really nice and easy as well. The heater core's hooked up, the heat blows hot, and again, just mechanically, it's an excellent driving car. Has a nice exhaust note to it where it's not too loud. You can definitely have a conversation with someone sitting in the car with you. You get in the throttle, you can hear the exhaust, but it's not an aggressive tone by any means. Inside is actually really cool, and it's actually a custom interior. One of the previous owners redid the interior. The dash has been recovered in like a vinyl material. It's got a brand new houndstooth interior in it. The console has this nice aluminum plate on top of the console. Has the B&M shifter. Console's nice. Back seat matches. Headliner's also in really good shape. Carpet looks brand new. Has the nice Torino mats in it. It's just a really nice Torino front to back. As far as the gauge cluster in front of you, all of those gauges are stock. You have your speedo, you have your fuel gauge, and you have a temp gauge there. But it also has 3 custom gauges, and these are the ones that are working. So your speedo and your fuel gauge are functioning, along with your horn. And then you have an aftermarket temp gauge. You have a voltage gauge, and then you also have a oil pressure gauge over there as well. So your factory temp gauge is not hooked up. It's functioning off of the one on the dash over here. And those 3 gauges are a Sun Pro gauge. They're nice gauges. They function properly. This does have an aftermarket stereo in it, which works well. Really, the only item on this car that's not working is going to be the speedo's off by about 8, 9, 10 miles an hour, depending on your speed. But that's pretty easy fix for whoever wants to mess with it. Temperatures come up good, so we'll kind of get on it here a little bit. Very smooth and easy shifts. Pulls hard. It's not a crazy horsepower motor. Obviously, I don't rag my stuff out. I get in them enough to test them out. But it's a really good running big block, but it's not a 500 horse motor. But again, I can say that it does run really well. Underneath is extremely solid. The floors, frame rails, inside the trunk, the drop downs, everything on the bottom side is very clean, and I found no rust issues, no rust repair. Just a good, clean, solid Torino GT. Cosmetically, this car was originally a dark green Torino GT with the ginger interior, so the cosmetics were definitely changed. It's got the nice grabber blue paint. Similar to the rest of the mechanicals, I don't know when that was done, but the grabber blue paint looks nice. Some very small little imperfections and flaws, but overall the cosmetics front to back do look good. Love it with the laser stripe. It's a really cool option on the Torinos. The laser stripe always kind of gives it a little bit of a unique look. I personally drive a 72 Grand Torino Sport, and it has a laser stripe on it. A little bit of a different stripe in 72 and 73 than the 70s and 71s. I actually really like this thick, full 70-71 Torino laser stripe that they offer. Just gives it a really cool look. And obviously you have the blackout treatment on the hood. A lot of people will do the gloss black like this one has. They would have been a flat black, but it gives it a nice look. Wheels and tires are brand new. They do not have 100 miles on them. It's a nice staggered set of tires, gives it that aggressive stance. Just makes it look really, really nice. It's just hard to beat a big block 4-speed Torino too. They're big, heavy cars, so you want a little bit of power, and then always shifting gears is fun. The car has been lowered a little bit in the back, but it does have rear air shocks on it, so you can adjust the rear ride height a little bit. Front suspension looks good. Obviously the steering all checks out and looks good to us as well. Going down this road, the steering wheel is off to the left just a little bit, but the car, as you can see, drives really nice and straight when you let off the steering wheel. All of your glass is really nice. The side windows roll up and down like they should. The back glass looks good. The front windshield is very clean. Does have a couple small little nicks. Not in front of the driver, offset just, I'd say maybe 6 inches in front of your vision over to the right. There is a small little stone chip, if y'all can see where my finger's at right there. Just a small little nick. And then the side glasses do have a few little scuffs from going up and down, but it's minimal at best. I really like the way that you sit in this car too. Sometimes when the seat foam is broken down, you kind of get a little bit of a gangster lean when you're sitting in these cars and driving them. Whenever the previous guy did these seats, they definitely redid the foam. And the seats are nice and firm and in very, very comfortable driving position. I'm 6 foot tall, and I drive this car very, very comfortably. It's very spacious on the interior. Obviously the Torinos are a bigger car, and that's kind of what I prefer. Gives you a little bit more room while you're driving. You're not elbow to elbow with the person sitting next to you, and that's like if you're hopping in like a first generation Mustang or even a first generation Camaro. If you have two people 6 foot tall, 6'1", you're definitely going to be rubbing elbows, but in this car you have plenty of room. You can easily put 2 more people in the back seat and go for a family cruise in this thing. You do need a little bit of a bigger garage than you would with like a first generation Mustang or even a 69, 70 Mustang. These Torinos are a little bit bigger of a car, so if you are buying something like this, make sure you do have a little bit more room in your garage, but again, you don't need anything crazy. Overall feel, absolutely love this car. Big block 4-speed is awesome. The only thing that I would add to it is I'd buy a vintage AC kit and install it, but now it's getting into the cooler months. You do have heat, so you can wait a little bit and add air when it becomes springtime, going into next summer. That'd be the one thing that I would change on this car. But it's a super solid Torino. Love the grabber blue. Like I said before, big block 4-speed. Just a really, really fun car to hop in and drive. And if y'all watch the channel, see my stuff, you hear me talk about my Torino all the time. I've personally owned a couple 70 and 71s. Currently have a fully built 72 Torino, so I love getting in stuff like this. They're my favorite cars to drive. As always, I appreciate y'all stopping in to watch another one of my test drive videos. If there's ever anything else that you want to see, have comments, concerns, questions, don't hesitate to leave a comment on the YouTube channel, or you can call or text me directly at 903-820-1019. Check us out at pcclassiccars.com, or we are across all social platforms. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and the handle is going to be PC Classic Cars across all of those. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys on my next test drive video.